All right. I'm going to be doing a quick introduction into something called Autism Brain Net. Some of you may be familiar with this. Again, for those of you who are entering the room, this is a sensitive topic. We're talking about loss of a loved one here. Um, Autism Brain Net is a program that's put together that is hoping to understand, as part of the Dup15q and the autism community at large, what are some of the changes that are happening within the brain of our individuals affected. And it's a program that's been around for a little over 10 years at this point, with the goal of building an essential resource for research into the cause of autism and related neurodevelopmental conditions, and to help identify new and effective treatments. Um, this involves the post-mortem collection of brain tissue after a loss of one of our loved ones. And at this point, the repository has 430 samples, which is 430 really difficult decisions and amazing contributions from families. Within the Dup15q community, we have 21 members who have chosen to make that contribution, and it cannot be overstated how much this means for the research community and for the community at large. And we do hear from Autism Brain Net very frequently that the Dup15q population, compared to a lot of other disorders, we are very willing to contribute and participate. I think that's a testament to our family's commitment to research and understanding that this type of subject is something that can be really, really valuable. So why is donation important? I think we're all aware that the brain is the primary organ that's affected in our neurodevelopmental conditions, and in particular Dup15q. And type of research that can be done with postmortem brain tissue, and in parallel with some of the other research studies that are being done, can really help us understand the underlying causes of autism and other symptoms that we see in neurodevelopmental disorders. And it can be used to study a lot of different disorders. This is just a quick sample slide that was shown during the research symposium earlier this week, where we had a researcher who was new to the Dup15q space, but through access to Dup15q, autism, and then neurotypical samples, she was able to put together a really comprehensive study looking at how different cells in the brain were different. And she found some things that were similar between Dup15q and autism, and some things that were different. And what this does, and it's going to inform a lot of her future studies, and she's going to be a big part of our community, is informing how can treatments be much more precise and specific to what we're seeing in Dup15q, and how can we adjust those based on the symptoms that we see in our kids, whether it's autism or others. So this was highlighted during the research symposium, and she was extremely gracious in saying, it's a really challenging thought to have as a parent, and I'm not a parent myself, but I couldn't even begin to imagine that type of thought process. But she was extremely gracious and grateful for the families that were supporting this type of project. If this is something that comes up and you'd be interested in, there is a clinical team that is specially trained in handling these types of cases, and will walk you through every step of the process. And this is all they do. They're 24/7 available for families, and they're an invaluable resource, I can imagine, in that time. So the process itself kind of has 3 stages. The first would be that you get in touch with Autism Brain Net, and they have a phone number listed here. It's also on their website, whenever the time is appropriate. They will facilitate everything. They'll handle all the processes on the back end. You don't have to worry about it. They'll take care of things, and at some point in the future, a clinician will follow up with you to talk about some further information. And I think it's important to take a moment. We have 21 families who have contributed to Autism Brain Net, but here are just 4 examples of families that have made that decision and that contribution. And again, it cannot be overstated. The gravity that comes with this, and of course the value to research and advancing therapeutics that families can offer through this type of donation. Now, I want to highlight, I'm speaking from the Dup15q Alliance. I'm not with Autism Brain Net. I can't answer a lot of the questions, frankly, that you may have about this process. It's complicated and it's difficult. But Autism Brain Net is really, they specialize in this. This is what they do, and they are there for the families. So if this is something that you want to look into a little bit more, I'd encourage you to reach out to them either through the website or the phone number. that's on the screen. They're on a lot of different platforms, and I know Alycia Halladay, who helps run the program, and she's just a wonderful soul, and she will be there for you in any way that she can be, as well as the rest of the clinical team. So I know this was kind of a tough session to come off of lunch with, but I just wanted to make sure that we talked about this because it's something that we want to make sure our families are aware of. But continuing on with the afternoon sessions, because I can't answer your questions, but I'll back up. I can't answer the questions for Autism Brain Net, but we at the Alliance are here to support you also in these types of processes. So anything that we can do to facilitate connection with Autism Brain Net or anything, you let us know. We'll do everything that we can.